My name is Chris Jones, and I'm here to talk to you about the Baseball Hall of Fame induction process and this year's Hall of Fame inductees. I will be telling you about the authorization and electors of the Baseball Hall of Fame, the eligibility for a player to get into the Hall of Fame, and the method of election for these guys to get elected into the Hall of Fame. I will also be telling you about this year's inductees, which consists of Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, John Smoltz, and Craig Biggio. This is also the first year since 1955 that 4 people have been elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in a single year. So now that I've told you about what I'm going to talk about, let's dive into the induction process. The Board of Directors of National Baseball Hall of Fame authorizes the Baseball Writers Association of America to elect members into the National Baseball Hall of Fame every year. Only members of the Baseball Writers Association who are active writers in the 10 years prior to the election year can have a vote. For eligibility, there are a few areas that a candidate must meet to be eligible for the National Baseball Hall of Fame. A player must have been active as a baseball player in the major leagues at some time during a period 15 years before and ending 5 years prior to the election year, meaning had to have been retired for 5 years and played for 10 years, which gets me into my next one. Players must have played in each of 10 Major League Championship seasons, some part of which must have been within the period described above. Now, the method of election is the Baseball Writers Association have a screening committee that consists of 6 members. The duty of the screening committee is to prepare a ballot listing in alphabetical order eligible candidates who received a vote on 5% of ballots cast in the preceding election or are eligible for the first time and are nominated by any 2 of the 6 members of the screening committee. A writer will vote for no more than 10 eligible candidates deemed worthy of the election. There are no write-in votes allowed. Any candidate that receives a vote on 75% of the ballots will then be elected into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Now that I've told you about the induction process, let me tell you about this year's class. As I said before, this year's class was the first year in 60 years to have 4 inductees. The previous time, in 1955, that year's class was headlined by the great Joe DiMaggio. This year's inductees have a combined of 9 Cy Young Award winners. The leader of the group, Randy Johnson, also known as the Big Unit, was one of the most dominant left-handed pitchers of his time or all time, depending on who you talk to. He pitched for the Montreal Expos, the Seattle Mariners, Houston Astros, Arizona Diamondbacks, New York Yankees, and San Francisco Giants. His first Cy Young Award was in 1995 with the Seattle Mariners. His next 3 came in 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002, that makes 4, with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He won a World Series in 2001 with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was also named World Series MVP. He finished his career with 303 wins and 4,875 strikeouts. And if anybody has ever seen the highlights, you need to YouTube it. He throws a pitch at the same time a bird crosses and the bird explodes. His feathers go everywhere. He threw the ball about regularly at 100 miles an hour. Pedro Martinez started his career with the Los Angeles Dodgers and pitched for the Montreal Expos, Boston Red Sox, New York Mets, and Philadelphia Phillies. He won a World Series with the Boston Red Sox in 2004, helping them to alleviate the curse of the Big Bambino, and everybody knows that story. He's a 3-time Cy Young Award winner, the first in 1997 with the Montreal Expos, the next 2 coming in 1999 and 2000 with the Boston Red Sox. For his career, he has 219 wins and 3,145 strikeouts. John Smoltz, who is my favorite of the group because I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, pitched for the Atlanta Braves, the Boston Red Sox, and the St. Louis Cardinals. He was a Cy Young Award winner in 1996, won a World Series in 1995, converted to a closer in 2001 following Tommy John surgery, and is the only pitcher in baseball history with 200 wins and 150 strikeouts. Craig Biggio played 19 years, all with the Houston Astros. He was a 7-time All-Star and a 4-time Gold Glove winner. He accumulated 3,060 hits, 291 home runs, 1,175 RBIs, and 414 stolen bases. He played catcher, second base, and outfield, and his best career move was moving from catcher to second base. He is currently serving as a special assistant to the general manager of the Houston Astros. So those are the inductees, and I told you about the process, who authorizes the baseball writers to elect the players, how the players are eligible, playing for 10 years and having to at least been retired for 5 years. There are other special circumstances that I didn't get into that you could get voted in, but it requires death. I gave you the names of this year's Hall of Fame inductees and a little bit about their background. So I hope you enjoyed this and have a nice day.